Hello, happy Wednesday. You are on the Heart of Success show, and I'm your host, Larissa Vakulina. I go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time zone. And here on this show, I'm sharing with you some method, tools, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and all the knowledge and experience that me personally and my special guests have to create success in all areas of your life, because we all from a very early age indoctrinated to believe that success is something that is approved and endorsed by external environment. But really, here on this show, we are redefining success, and we sharing with you how you can actually create success from a different place within yourself. So today I have a special episode. This is number 73 episode. And I have a special guest here, Arthur. I actually don't want to take a challenge to introduce your full name because Arthur Huis Int Veld. I'm not sure if it's correct, but I excuse me for not correctly pronounce it. But
It's okay.
this amazing person is a founder and of a few different studios. When I look at his profile, I'm going back some years and years, and he's a director of the iBusiness studio. Then he created arthurlam.co. So that was some sort of organization, which I would like then maybe ask Arthur
Yes.
to explain for us. So he's a business and lifestyle transition mentor. I think in the past you were like that, reset mentor, and your money blueprint founder. So, and also right now you are running and trading under the name of Studio Monarch, and your role is a business and digital income mentor. So
Yeah.
how amazing the combination of this, because we are now not only building and maintaining our businesses, but we also transitioning into a very interesting epochal change of the digitalization, and all of this I would be so interesting to discuss with you, Arthur. I would like to really
Mm, mm.
pass the floor for you to actually tell us a little bit about yourself, your biography,
Of
maybe,
course, of course.
and also what is it that you passionate about, because I know the name of the show is, are you building your business by works or spiritual or spirited faith?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm
Wonderful.
giving floor to you. Please welcome and thank you for accepting my invitation to be here with me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Larissa. And it's an honor to be on your 73rd episode. Now, 73 already, and that's great. I think, you've mentioned in your introduction under some of my trading names, and it's a little bit like the tree behind me on the picture. If you can all see it, or the painting. The painting was made actually by Jane, a lady called Jane, back in 2020. I was stuck in Europe when I was supposed to be doing a workshop in the Benelux for a client. And then COVID hit us, okay? And I couldn't leave. So that took me 2 months to get back to Australia, from the Netherlands to Australia. And then we came back, and my wife and I said we wanted the painting, something that's meaningful, but something that represents who we are and our lives as well, okay? And then we saw this tree with the blossoms, okay? And every blossom or every flower represents something, yes?
Yep.
And some deeper meanings than others, okay? But it stems from one tree, of life, okay? And I
I can
suppose,
see that tree behind you there. So
yes,
you're talking exactly about that. That has
correct.
a
So,
meaning.
and the reason, because I want just to relate it, okay, because people ask us at some times, or anyone, so what do you do? And people evolve, okay? I truly believe we are never one particular person at a given moment, because as our character grows, yes, we receive different insights. Okay, we receive different rewards even as well. So, but yeah, so the different names have a different time frame or different seasons for you to operate in or under, okay, or representing.
Absolutely.
But the person behind it is also always the Arthur Huis Int Veld or the Arthur Lam. And I will unpack that a little bit as well. I think that's rightly to do so. My birth name is Arthur Lam. That was from my father and my mother. But when they separated back in the early 70s already, so I really never really got to know my father, is that my mom eventually got remarried later in the 70s, and then I took on my father's stepfather's surname, Huis Int Veld. So I think now the right question, even before this this podcast, is that, okay, do I call you Huis Int Veld or Lam? Okay, on paper, I'm Huis Int Veld. Lam, I can't go back to. That's to do with the age and legal system. Okay,
Right.
Yes, I originate as Lam, and sometimes I profile myself as Arthur Lam as well, but the same information as on my Studio Manad website. So a little bit about myself. You may pick an accent. I'm Dutch. I'm from the Netherlands.
Right. Yes.
And born in April 1965. I won't give you my exact birthday because I almost received all these gifts. So.
Well, interesting you said that, because I'm also born in April.
Oh, wow. Well, mine is the 23rd.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's probably just coincidence, absolutely. But
That's right.
Really,
That's right.
what I believe is there's no coincidences, right? And the people are coming together and splitting with together in a real sense of it's there's no mistakes, right? We repel each other and we magnetize each other for the purpose of growth, development, and lessons.
Wow. It's interesting. It's interesting you say that. Before this podcast, I made some notes over the week, and actually part of the heading note as well is that nothing is by accident, but by universal purpose. And you just shared that, okay?
That's it.
and it's amazing, And I think there's a hidden messages in our conversations and what we experience, even when we don't talk, because we haven't spoken since I opted in to come on your podcast. So we're just aligning into the universe, seeing what information we receive, so we can express that, impart that in others. But yeah, so I was born in the Netherlands in April 1965, and as a young boy, I went to primary school there, and I not often, but sometimes I fell asleep, okay, at the desk, and it wasn't because I was tired. I don't think I was being stimulated for who I was, or who I am, or how I was at that particular time. So that was an interesting experience as well. So sometimes if the teaching or the engagement in the classroom, and I sat on the table with 3 other pupils, but I wasn't really being engaged at times. And then I fell asleep, or I put myself to sleep. Okay, I can't remember all the whys, but I think it became more of a reason. You understand why later on in life. Okay, so just holding on to the moment, so I wasn't stimulated. Now, secondly, fast forwarding to the 70s, in the Netherlands, we loved playing football or soccer, the World Game, and I played baseball as well. So I played both baseball games, and I always aspired to be, as a young boy, I was actually inspired by reading magazines. Okay, so sports magazines, but I was always engaged with the story. Okay, why did they play so good soccer? And I was trying to imagine, as a young boy, how would I feel if I played like Larissa, for example? Okay, how come he or she is that star? Okay, what emotions do they go through? So I was, as a young man, always trying to engage with people. Okay, even in imaginary form or in story form. Okay, what did they go through as a person? How did they feel? And now I didn't realize I was experiencing that, but that those pivotal moments, okay, became my foundation that I needed to really rely and source my own well-being and look inside of myself, okay, and do whatever I do and become the best in what I do. I needed to be in my zone. In that particular zone, okay, I needed to be able to feel that. So now, from the 70s and the later 70s, I experienced of being a somewhat of a recognized soccer player here in Australia. No, so we immigrated. Sorry, I skipped a little bit. We immigrated in 1980 to Australia. The reason we came here, my mum and my stepfather came to visit some family members in Australia. My mum's sister, they loved the country so much. They said, great. In 1980, we immigrated and we come to Australia. And that was the land of opportunity, the sunshine, the room, the space. I mean, as beautiful as the Netherlands is, and I still love the country. And my wife and our kids love it as well. Now, when we travel and go there, is that we my parents wanted more room, more space. They wanted something different. Okay, so we
In
came.
Australia, there's room. In Australia has room, right? Yes.
That's right. So we came to Australia, and of course, the 70s, when I mentioned about being a soccer player and professional football player, they came to fruition when I came to Australia.
Right.
And I played soccer here. I think I scored 57 goals in 11 games, and every week I was in the paper. Okay, and they called me the Dutchie with the golden legs. Okay, but anything happens not by accident. Okay, I didn't call to be called upon to be the golden legs. Okay, but I just served the game in my zone.
Right.
Okay, to my best ability. So what I learned as well, again, in that zone space there, is that now you can say, great, I want to go and win, and I want to go and score that goal. Yes, but that doesn't mean you're going to score a goal. You learn all the practicalities of it all. How do I score a goal? Okay, how do I position myself? But first and foremost, I need to be in the zone.
Absolutely. Well, this is like, for me, I think you've been engaging the whole faculties. You've been engaging the higher faculties of your imagination, of your visualization, of all of your system was engaged and felt and vibrate in the in the glory of these, games and winning and kicking the goals and things like that. So this is really what we talk about here on this show. Particularly, I always talk about that we have this absolute power to create reality first within our own consciousness system, the energy consciousness system, and then of course it is flowing through this vibration that we hold into the reality. I love these stories, and keep going.
Yes, we just started. So, but I think now there's a leading to our further conversations, any questions you may have as well. But so from that experience, now I was able to flourish for about a year and a half, close to 2 years. And then I bought myself a motorbike. I was still part-time going to school. I started part-time working in the Adelaide Hills on their market gardening farm. And then I rode home. I drove my motorbike home after a hot day. It was about 43 degrees in 1982, March 1982. And I blacked out on the motorbike. The sunstroke. I was all day in the sun working hard, and I was getting ready for the new soccer season. They're getting ready to be picked for the state, even national team. So there were things in the planning and being discussed. But riding my bike home, I saw a car coming, a big car, and it was near a bend. And I blacked out on the motorbike. I went with my bike across the road and hit a car head on.
Wow.
I hit a car head on, and that was in March 1982. What happened? I hit the car. I flew over the car. I felt myself flying through the air, and I ended up on the road. My body started shaking. My body started shaking. And at that moment, through my shaking body, I left my body, and it was all bright. It was just a bright light. I wasn't aware of what it was. I wasn't conscious of what it was, but it was a bright light. Don't know how long I was in that moment. Okay, there could be a death, or an experience of death. My body left. No, my spirit left my body. Certainly, yes.
It is an out of body experience you've been experiencing there.
That's right. But at that moment, it happens. You don't even think about it. You're conscious or not. So the out of body experience, then I entered my body back again, and back in the present of being in pain.
Right.
Yes? And I wasn't in good shape. My legs all broken. My left leg was all broken. My right leg was all the way at the hip. And the gentleman was shook up out the car, and then I had to call the ambulance, and I think I had to wait 45 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. Because this happened in Adelaide Hills, the Basket Range. You may know the area or not. No, it's before Landswood.
Yep.
And from that moment, my life changed. I couldn't play soccer anymore. But that spiritual awakening, or that
Mhm.
leaving the body experience,
Mhm.
okay, became and meant something later in life. Okay, so then I fast forward 2 years. So about 2 years, I was in plaster, 2.5 years,
Mhm.
and it took time for my body to heal and
To
my legs
heal.
to heal. I was on crutches for a number of years.
Mhm.
Thankfully, they didn't have to amputate my leg, because that was a big
Mhm.
discussion as well. But
Mhm.
thankfully
Wow.
and gracefully, the bone started growing again after about a year and a half.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
but there was a lot of doubt there before that.
Right.
But in March, let me think. In March 80, yeah, March 84, I met this young lady called Monique. Monique is my wife today, and we got married in 1987. And she was she was a believer in God, and she was actually Christian at that particular moment. And but she always had this gravity, or this pulling towards wanting to know more as a little girl already
Mhm.
about spirituality, or God, about creation.
Right.
Okay, and we may call it God or the Creator,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
Allah, no, for
Yep.
some people.
Absolutely.
So she had that as a young girl, but when I met her, she shared about her faith. And that
Mhm.
particular time, I went to a church, and I was introduced to Pentecostal church, and I went in there and I started talking tongues. I didn't even know what tongues meant.
Mhm.
But I went there
Mhm.
because I was in love with her. I went
Right.
with her, right? But
Mhm.
it was over the weeks and months and years, I started exploring more what faith meant,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
and how that relates to life. Yes.
Mhm.
But for a while, I was still separated. Now, there were moments that meant something, other times I could try to understand it, trying to understand the logic of it all. And as our lives went on, now, little moments that happened in life became a triggering point. So, hey, great, there's more than just the logic.
Mm.
Yes, there's more than what's just
Absolutely.
enforced, or what we learn from reading books or from our school system. Yes, there's more to life than that. Okay, and that's part of
Absolutely.
the ingenuity. Okay,
Well,
sometimes we just learn.
it's all beyond the scholastic knowledge or the logical
Yes,
reasoning
yes,
or the scientific explanation, and that's what makes us a little bit confused. But at the same time,
it's
that inner world that we experience in is such a strong presence, and strong connection, that sometimes we don't have capacity or ability how to explain and how to express that. And that's what I think humanity is actually kind of lost, because we all feel it, but we're not knowing how to express it, or we kind of hiding it, or we suppressing it, or whatever. I mean, I was in the same state, and I for a long time I was suppressing that presence of the divine connection,
mm,
right?
mm, mm.
So I really would like to lead you again, just keep telling us what really, what's the most important things that created you as it is now, like what really
Yes,
leads
yes, yes.
business and
Thank
digital
you.
income mentor, right? So
Yes, yes. Thank you. And of course, now there are a lot of moments in my life story that I can explore and share with you more. But I think that leading on to that, I think the foundation is very important. They become relevant, okay, when you go into business. I started working in August 1984, because during the
Mhm,
time I was in class, I was not able to work. I studied commercial bookkeeping to leading to be an accountant. Then
mhm,
later on, for me, eventually getting a job in, like I said, in 84, August 84, to work for a non-governmental department, an
mhm,
agency that placed me within governments and private sector to work
mhm,
in the finance sector. But
mhm.
numbers, okay, and I seem to be good with numbers. I knew how much 1 + 1 is 11, if you know the power of numbers.
Yes. Yeah.
But live it on. But it wasn't stimulating enough for me. It
Mhm,
just wasn't
mhm.
stimulating, and you realize that. So I worked 8 months a year, 4 months. The other 4 months I went to the beach. I enjoyed the
Yeah.
weather. Okay, but the beach was really for me, my time, me time, and how important that was for me to
Yeah.
have choices. So at that moment in life, I realized, okay, what's the most important thing for me was to have freedom.
Mhm.
the freedom not to be controlled, yes,
Right.
but to be of influence of my own time and have the
Mhm.
choices of my own time. And
Mhm.
that has never left me. And that has led me on to become an investment advisor in 1986 through a company as an independent business agent. So you work for
Mhm.
yourself,
Mhm.
offering
Mhm.
someone else's product as a potential vehicle for people to invest in. That
Yeah.
allowed me to become part of, I think we had 30 people or 32 people here in Adelaide called Carlton Ross. It allowed
Mhm.
me to be a part of the top three advisory consultants within 2 weeks. And I
Mhm.
always aspired that. Now that comes back to as well about going back to my soccer experiences, my imagination, about experiencing being in the zone. I did the same
Mhm.
thing for the practicality when I started my business, okay, working as a commission agent, offering advisory investment products, is be
Mhm.
able to put myself in the zone or able to put in the shoes of someone else
Mhm.
before I met the people, before I had my appointment. Okay, so I
Right.
always imagine the
That
process. I went
yes.
go through. It's okay. Who am I going to meet? If I meet
Well, this
Larissa,
is again, this is
who is
almost like
Larissa?
inviting the higher imperative to assist you in your intuition.
Yes.
And that's how we sometimes ignore this skill we all have,
Yeah.
inviting to assist in your intuitive guidance before even meeting people. You already been tuning in into their energy consciousness system,
Correct.
and you knew when they actually present with you. Amazing.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
That's
And
great.
of course, no, no. Now, if you look at the experiences from a faith point of view, from and no, so okay, let me explain two things, or maybe even three things. Then you get your works. We talked about works in the header. Okay, we talked about faith, and we talk about business. So
Mhm.
if we talk about works, and
Mhm.
I'll backtrack a little bit now. When we're born, or when we're born in a family, and they love us, yes, most
Yeah.
of the cases,
Yes.
okay, because it's a child's born out of love. Okay,
Yes.
again, most of the cases,
Yes.
and then that's the first 5 years, and then we become part of a educational system, a schooling system,
Yes.
yes, and that forms us. So in the beginning of life, they love us. We have an probably enlightening, a high experience of spirituality, but we weren't aware of it because we didn't know as a child or as a
Mm.
baby. Okay,
Mm.
but it's a very important part of life, and probably
Absolutely.
the most important lives. Okay, we can
Yeah.
draw upon even when we grow again, even at
Mhm.
our age. Okay,
Yep.
so but then from 5 to 12, you go through primary school here in Australia or in the Netherlands is similar. Not sure about Russia. Maybe Russia was the same. Okay,
Yeah.
that particular time,
Mhm.
uh, and then you're shaped to conform.
Mhm.
Okay? So information is enforced upon us,
Absolutely.
okay, which may not necessarily line with us, okay,
Absolutely.
because we are not recognized and to be supported to help us identify whom we are.
Yep.
Okay, so that's part of the work. So we are being worked to be molded and accepted into the next level, and that's in high school, at
Mhm.
whatever level of high school studies
Mhm.
that is.
Yeah.
Yes, and that then leads
Mhm.
on to working
Yeah.
environment.
Your
Yes, and
university or
it might be about
college.
20 or 25, depending on your further studies. You go
Yep.
out there and work. Okay, but I think what the important thing is that we are continuously being shaped. Yes, by an outer force to fit
Yes.
within the systems. And it comes back to, I think you mentioned before as well. No,
Yes.
success is not about acceptance.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
about alignment,
Yes.
universal alignment. Okay. And when we understand, it's like the tree behind me, that we are part of something greater.
Mhm.
Okay. We are not segregated. But we are brought up as being segregated, as little individuals. No,
Yes.
no, we're all flowers, but we may
Mm.
blossom at different times.
Right.
Yes. But it all
That's
stems from
beautiful.
that tree of life.
That's
Okay. And
beautiful.
that's
Yes.
so important. And that's when you recognize and transition that, you realize, okay, what the works may be, what we may have been enforced upon us, or it may have agenda at times. There is
Mhm.
an alignment that can happen. Okay. Because you
Yep.
take your own initiative. Yes. To
Mhm.
take the works, as a great, align it with our spirit, our heart,
Mhm.
and double check if it's right here. So rather than double checking between the ears,
Yes.
as powerful as it is, as beautiful our brain is, it's a spirit of life that within us. Okay,
Mhm.
is that
Mhm.
aligned?
Mhm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so and the question actually was asked me on Facebook only the other day. It's okay. How do you become a greater person? Now, how do you learn all that knowledge? I said, well, you don't learn between the ears, you learn what you sense here in your heart. And then we
But
call it ingenuity. And
look,
it's quite interesting, so it's quite
yes,
an
yes.
opposite
Well, you
effect.
see, there's also because of this indoctrination, and now even
Yeah.
more so because there's not only kind of way of indoctrinating us in a way of showing information and making us believe in a certain way. It's only that way, not another. Now it's even more. It's almost like a forceful concepts and philosophy of the perception of the world. So, well, how to actually become a greater, as you said, question. Like for me, I can really share that there's a three components involved in us, how we can become aware of these things. And there's this three, I would say, portals of how we can access that power that is within ourselves. It is one is a logical reasoning, and another one is the feelings, right? But really, we have 3 points to engage in this search for that greater self: is your reasoning, your emotions, and your will, which is the discipline, the know when we need to put the will forward and stay back with waiting, receiving, right, what we actually put in motion. So there's this play between these three components, but many people don't know that we put the will in the logical reasoning, and then we put the will that propel us forward without realizing the feelings. And that's where the disbalance start to set in.
I think it's great in sharing that as well, Larissa. And what is the balance? For me, balance is harmony. Okay, and the harmony all creates and becomes one. Okay, so then it's become one balance, or maybe the word balance is not needed anymore because we're one harmoniously operating, flowing in what we do. Okay, and I think now maybe our audience, our listeners, they can feel moments and reflect back to a moment. They say, great, wow,
Right.
I feel peaceful, I feel great, it's just happening in a zone. Or now a lot of people talk about when I go to work or go to a given place, but it was like they were zoning out. So there were a moment in harmony with themselves. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And they were walking or driving or cycling along, and then suddenly they're there. But in that space in between, they had an harmonious experience without realizing what that harmonious experience was.
Yeah.
Okay. And I truly believe that's part of our God, our creation, is renewing us, refreshing us in those moments. Okay. And what you're saying is those moments we can actually call upon, because life, that beyond us, the creator of life, the creator, it's constant, 24/7. It's always we can access that. We can access that. Okay. But a lot of people don't realize that yet. However, the good news is the world is changing. The world's in pain. Systems are in pain. Leaders are being confronted. Leaders are becoming forceful. Yes. And as much as they become forceful, and whether it's right or wrong, or we sense that it's right or wrong, also those people are still loved. Okay.
Absolutely.
But this has to happen. The change in the world has to happen for the new to birth. So what we are seeing and what I'm seeing, and even within myself, okay, and that this leads on to my mentoring role as well, is that people are calling out to be reset. And now we heard sometimes the word, and now they speak about the great reset and the different interpretations of that. Okay, and it's not for me to judge whether what they're doing right or wrong or agree with it. I keep separate from that. Okay, and I
Absolutely.
allow myself, okay, with the creative life, what I need to do, what we need to do, and how do I mentor and assist people in different ways. And that comes back to so a little bit we covered works, what it is. Now we conformed to a system. That system has a predictable outcome. Okay, we know it's not a particular outcome through all these systems is being disrupted big time. Yes, so that leads on to say, great, what does faith then got to do with it? Now, faith is really not the system of the world, okay, but it's a creation of us humans, our lives. Okay, and what we got to remember, every human belongs to one source of life. Now, it's like I was cycling this morning before we're getting together today, and I'm cycling along the coast here in Brighton, in Glenelg. I normally try to do 15 to 20 kilometer cycle a day, just to refresh myself, to align myself. Okay, and I sit there watching the sea. And when you see the sea, and I think 74% of the, maybe even more, I think 71% of the world is covered by water. Okay? It's incredible. I think it's the same with our bodies. How much water we get in our bodies? Like quite a bit as well. Okay, so but that means now we're all part of that water, but we're all that little wave. Okay, little waves, big waves, you know. And and we go in the on shore, and we come out, we go back in the sea again. So we're going out and in, but we never disconnected.
Never.
And whether I'm in Malaysia, or whether I'm in Indonesia, or whether I'm in the Netherlands, okay, or even Singapore, different countries I go to at times, especially the pre-COVID time, is that every human being has got something wonderful to share. And every different faith has got something wonderful to share. But they all stem from the one greater source. Okay?
Absolutely.
Because I believe the source is not about segregating. Okay? As soon as we segregate a certain belief, it becomes religion, and it's like politics.
Absolutely. It's two different things. I mean, religion and being spiritual really doesn't have anything in common. I mean, it's a two completely different concepts. And again, we all divine beings, and spirituality, for us, we go different roads to experience spirituality, but really it's the same truth of us being creators. And if we have the ability to create, I don't understand the fear that is right now is imposed on all humanity about this lack of resources, or excess of population.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
That's really silly for me.
It is. It's a joyful laugh I'm sharing, because we have an abundance available to us, right? If you put one seed in your beautiful property there behind you, and let's say it was carrots or celery, whatever you throw in there, and you water it, you nurture it, and suddenly it multiplies.
Absolutely.
Right? It's like the Netherlands. They grow tulips, right? And they cut them and they sell the flower. Yes. They're not really interested in the flower, although that represents a business itself. It's the flower bulb that multiplies, okay? So they can sell the flower bulbs. Yes. It's very powerful, okay? Because what we're seeing here is everything, again, the tree of life behind us, the flowers, okay? It withers, it has seasons, okay? But it has seeds as well. So everything that's created allows us to multiply, okay? Even human beings allows us to multiply, yes? Even animals allows us to multiply. And actually, if you go back to the Bible, and this is not a biblical preaching story or nothing else, but there's a lot of profound truths in there as well, okay? And we are born to create, to be fruitful, because that's part of our human DNA. That's a gift, okay? When two become one, you create one, okay, which is your child, okay? And I think it's very important to understand that works and faith is knowing, and there's something greater than us, and for people, a young age, they experience it, they accept it, then they go to school, they mislearn it, they get hacked, our brains get hacked, our knowledge base gets hacked, okay? And then we go into life, and we go to work, and I believe work and business is the same. What I mean by that is that now we agree to a contractual agreement, okay? I'll deliver this particular service or product, and you pay me for this in exchange, okay? It's no different in work or salary or business, okay? Someone else may take that responsibility of
absolutely.
It's the service we do is very much the same. So we're all in business in many ways.
Yes, it's a really transactional kind of whatever. Everything.
It is.
All the communication become transactional.
What also has always been important to me, and it comes back to what I was seeking, freedom, and to be of influence of my time. It's not to be in control, but for influence, okay? Is that the vehicle, the work, or whatever we choose to do, and whatever we choose to do today, okay, is a vehicle to share the best of me or the best of you. Yes? So I've been involved in various companies. I trained various people to become the best of whom they are, okay? To become the best, to dream again. Okay,
Right.
what is your dream within? And it comes back to the mentoring role. Who is the beautiful Larissa? Who's the beautiful Arthur? Who's the beautiful Margaret?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Share your story. Share me your
Mm.
struggles, because struggles are important as well.
Yes.
Okay, because a lot of people, okay, oppress their struggles, their challenges, and push them down. Yes,
Well,
but when you
we
push them down, they're
yeah.
stuck in your body. They're still there.
Absolutely. It starts to tear you apart because it's really, we create that ideal mask and we go with that ideal
Yeah,
mask,
yeah.
and we can't create deep relationships because we create it on a level of the mask, and
Yeah,
other people feel the mask, they put their own mask, and then the communication is very limited. And of course, we're not engaging this space.
yeah.
We only engage in the logical space of the
Yes, yes,
transactional communication. So,
yeah.
Arthur, tell us a little bit more about your trademark, the Studio Monarch, and who are your clients? What do you do actually? How do you make them trust you, love you, buy from you, and things like that? So I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting to know a little bit more about your strategies
Thank
and
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, you
tactics.
don't know, do we? Studio Monad. Okay, studio represents creation. So I'm a creator. It
Uh-huh.
reflects my persona.
Yeah.
Okay, and studiomonad.co is my website. Thank you for sharing. Monad is really our family name, or my wife's. So MON, Monique, and
Yeah.
ART is Arthur.
All
Okay, so
right.
Studio Monad. So we used the name before. We had trust accounts with another company we had in 2006, 7. We use the name. A Studio Monad is something that now we all creators, we're very creative as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what Studio Monad is. So how do people and how do I engage with people? It's interesting. Over the years, from self-reflection, from imagining, from dreaming, okay, you come up in conversations with people you meet.
Mm-hmm.
And the key thing is that with the people I meet, you build a trusting, open conversation as we do today. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe in sales pitches. Although I may have used it, been taught myself to create a sales pitch, but I always try to personalize it as soon as I can. Now, what is it I'm trying to offer? Yes. Who
Right.
am I? Yes. And when there's a moment of engagement and a moment of alignment, now through
Mm-hmm.
open-ended questions, as you ask me, yes,
Mm-hmm.
then there might be common interest to find, okay, what does he or she do? So in my case, I help people really to elevate themselves above today's circumstances. Now, I had a
Mm-hmm.
gentleman ask me on a business network event. He runs he's in second in charge of a technology development company. They say that they're very successful in what they do, whatever success means,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that may mean for different people. Okay, and
Yeah.
maybe I want to talk a little bit about that as well in a moment. But um, I said, well, help people, set them free from the daily chores and be able to live the life they aspire. And he laughed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he
Right.
repeated what I said. I
Mm-hmm.
said, why do you laugh?
Mm-hmm.
And he laughed because it did not align with the
Yes,
psychic of professionalism.
that's
Yes.
it. Yes. Mhm. But we all live in
And
lives, and
yes, so,
we all have these simple needs that we need to meet. But in
correct.
our modern world, it seems like there's an alternation happen with all the philosophy of making consumerism and changing our needs for the wants. And the wants are really unlimited, but the
Yeah,
needs are a few, and we
correct.
just ignore them, and then of course we find ourselves in trouble, right? So
Yeah.
yes,
so,
that's
so
really.
engaging with people now, whether it be through parties, personal events, network events. Now, back in the 80s, when I started working for myself, now
Mhm,
advising people about uh, um, uh, uh, investment products. Okay,
mhm.
I looked within. We were taught to look within a network of influence, the people we knew, the people you meet. I say, great. Maybe they're able to benefit from your service. In this case,
Right,
in this particular product. So what's the
right.
process you go through? You do go through, okay, who's my potential customer? Who's my potential client? Yes. Now,
Mhm,
how do we reach them? Then we reach them by phone. Okay,
Right.
we made a list of people we contact. Okay, and it's still very powerful and works still today. Yes, but I've always worked in a scene, okay, and
Mhm.
delivered a service in a scene that the quality was always over quantity.
Mhm.
Okay, I never needed many clients or many people to look after for be of
Sure.
service and value to them. Okay, and that
Sure.
comes back to the reward as well for that. Okay, but
Mhm.
the key thing again, now for how do I do my business is about getting into that zone. Okay, why
Mhm.
am I in business? Okay, what do I sense to be called to do? And I believe
Mhm.
humanity is to serve and encourage and empower one another. Yes,
Mhm.
it's like when you serve the kingdom of God or serve our Creator,
Mhm.
all these things will be given unto you. Okay, and what I
Mhm.
learned in life there is that when you serve people, that's you sense to be valued at given time, and that may be of a season. Okay,
Mhm.
people in business, now business failure is actually business lessons or life lessons. Okay, but we call
Mhm.
it failure, and whatever
Yeah.
reason they call it failure for. Okay, maybe good for statistics. I think 90+% of people or companies who start a business that
Mhm.
they stop operating within 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
Yes,
Yep. Mhm.
I think okay. I ask myself, okay, why? Okay, and it comes back
Mhm.
to alignment
Mhm.
because back to our DNA, back to our human beings, we want to create. We want to
Mhm.
multiply. We want to share our greatness and goodness. Because that's to
Absolutely.
do with our connection. It has to do with that connection. Yes?
Mhm. Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
want to, now like your service and your bed and breakfast, what you offer as well. Okay. You want
Mhm.
people that to reconnect again and
Mhm.
re-energized. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
rebirth as a beautiful person they are. To be
Mhm.
born here for the time beyond this wonderful place called Earth,
Yep.
our gift,
Yep.
our planet.
Yep.
Okay. So, and that's the same in business. We are here to serve one another, to be fruitful. Yes,
Mhm.
in many
Yeah.
different ways.
Multiply.
Okay, and
Yes.
what we can see now is a refinement. Okay, and a shaking up. Okay, that needs a lot of things are over too much. We don't need it all. Okay,
Mhm.
because there's already
Yep.
enough right here in the presence. Okay, our
Yes.
land or whatever we have available from our country. So, but yeah, so hopefully to answer a little bit of the question, okay, what do I do?
Yeah.
For me, keep in the zone, understand why I'm doing it. If I don't align with it, because sometimes we not sure, we do things because it makes logical sense.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
We check
Yep.
the heart and spirit, and sometimes we don't always get a clear answer, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
And we
Yep.
say, yes, this is good, but we don't
Mhm.
understand it. Okay.
Well, we
And that's a
we all
natural characteristic growing process. We're going spiritual process we go through.
That's it. It's like we always also being in, in that environment where the external approval or the external
Yes.
endorsement or the external admiration is really forcing us to be restless. We
Yep.
kind of want to do things. We want to be active, and sometimes we don't even know why. We spend hours and hours and hours doing some tasks, but then it creates only overwhelm, and and people easy go into burnout without realizing why, because they don't feel the zone. They kind of they reject the connection, because zone is always there, it always present there, but
Mm.
they just ignoring the signs of it, and because they think the more active and the more hours they spend on task, the more result they get. That's not really true, right? So
Amen. Amen. So true.
yes.
And that is true what you're saying.
That's it.
It is
Yes.
true. It is true because what we're actually doing and what you're sharing here is, we shared it before. It's like, okay, we are molded to become part of a system.
Yep.
Okay. And the system gives countries a predictable outcome and a world predictable outcome. Okay. And now we live in a world of data. Okay.
Yeah.
We all our behaviors, okay, the behavior of nature, behavior of X, everything around us and in us, okay, is trying to be measured. Yes. It
Sure.
sounds all very interesting. Okay, I've been involved in technology space. I've been involved in being a provider of technology, and I still do at times. Now we
Hmm.
provide, connecting the partners or development partners to
Yep.
provide solutions for my clients, but
Yep.
less the last 2 years, and for specific reasons. Okay,
Mhm.
but it is that we all want to collect the data, but is that all that really good? How
Mhm.
fruitful is it? And we think
Mhm.
that everything then what we know at the at our
Mhm.
fingertips is going to be good, because if we
Mhm.
don't know it, we can't become efficient enough. Okay, but again, what we realize, all that efficiency is being broken as we speak. Okay, it's
Absolutely.
broken down.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
again, it's Mother Earth calling us, saying, hey, no, we are efficient already as you are. Yes?
Yes.
And it's
Absolutely.
not saying, Mother's not saying you can create and start and innovate new things, but use it rightly for wisdom, for the right guidance, okay, and the right
Yeah.
empowerment. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think people are a little bit we funny because we create complication. We like complication because
Yes.
we think that when it's complicated, it's actually cool. Like I'm creating something that is, but really,
That's
really, the
important for the
simple
world. Yeah. Yeah.
the simple the more simple it is and the more understandable because we all have the same needs. We
Yeah.
have emotional needs, we have physical needs, we have psychological needs, we have
Correct.
spiritual needs. And
Yeah.
if we withdraw one of these mental needs, right? If we withdraw one of these dimension and saying, oh, this is just doesn't exist. It doesn't matter how I feel emotionally. I'm performing physically and mentally, right? Well, spirituality is somewhere there. We separated spirituality from ourselves. And then, of course, if we neglect these dimensions of who we are, we're not using fully our capacity to
Mm,
actually
mm, mm,
create
mm, mm,
effortlessly and multiply our creation for the benefit of many, right?
mm, mm,
That's
mm,
really what is in a nutshell. We
mm,
just kind of running restlessly for nothing. I
mm,
would say
mm,
we just run to catch up with our own diseases, and then we don't
mm, mm,
recognize that
mm,
any
mm,
disease is
mm,
a conversation with God.
mm,
Then
mm,
we run
mm,
another way to the doctors, and then we,
mm, mm,
it's
mm,
all
mm,
kind of doesn't make sense for me. But
mm,
again, we
mm,
all
mm,
here to assist and explain possibly to someone who is still in a state of not understanding who they are and what
mm,
power they have, right?
mm, mm,
Arthur,
mm, mm.
now I would like to ask you last question. We up to 48 minutes now. Uh, what three points or three recommendations would you give to anyone who is actually struggling to have success? We talk now about the whole total success in many areas of our lives, but a lot of people struggling to even get success in what they do, how they create relationships, or just maybe your outlook and three
Yes.
points that you can give right now.
It's a great question, and I'm going to answer this as in a moment, okay? Because I haven't prepared any answers on this, and I
Yeah,
didn't want to,
yeah.
okay? But from my conversation and from this moment, you ask me this question: is that today, okay? We need to ask ourselves, what is success?
Mhm.
What does success mean to you? And I'll elaborate a little bit on that. Is that success for me? Okay, often I was seeking that from external sources, external achievement.
Mhm.
I did not sense that when I had played soccer or football in the 70s, including baseball, I did really well as well.
Mhm.
And I never saw myself as a successful person, but I wanted to be the best at what I could do. Okay, bring out my best. Okay, but success is not your end destination. Okay, success for me is being harmonious in whatever you do. Yes. And then all these other things will be given unto you, whatever that may be,
Mhm.
emotionally, spiritually, physically, relationally, financially,
Mhm.
materially. All these things will going to be, because we are, it will be given freely.
Mhm.
It's quite interesting how life works. So, what we mean then, success, we don't need to per se work and hard towards it, right? But we need to flow into it.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
then it's already there. Okay, as a character grows, as a spiritual character grows, as
Mhm.
you as a character grow, and I don't mean you, our listeners, okay, or anyone can grow as a character, we suddenly
Mhm.
sense, okay, that's success. And that success is understanding faith, okay? What's a greater force beyond what I believe, or what are these moments? What does faith mean? Okay. What does works mean to me then? How does that
Mhm.
align? Is
Yeah.
that really aligned with who I am? Right? Or
Mhm.
am I serving something else that's not part of me?
Mhm.
Okay, so let that go then. You need to let that go, right? Your spirituality, sorry, it relates to faith, but also your emotional intelligence. So like spiritual intelligence, emotional intelligence, and then your understanding
Yeah.
intelligence, okay, your mind and intelligence. I think being able those three to come together and unified from a universal perspective becomes one. And I think
Wow.
no matter what you do, you find fulfillment. And if that is called success, right, or
Mm-hmm.
your heart of success, your well-being for success, you'll find it, okay? So
Oh,
that's
beautiful.
one part of success, yes. The other, so it's 3 points, eh? So that's 1 point,
Yes, three,
okay?
3 points.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I think it's wonderful. Good question, because the second one is that I'm a manifester as a character, yes? And for my birthday, it's 20th of April, I'll repeat it again. No, last April, my daughter, Lavonna, she's 31. And she's very spiritually inclined as well. She's got 2 beautiful children, and my grandchildren. You've seen a photo come by recently. And is that she gave me my human signature, my design, okay,
Mhm.
about my name, where I was born. So Arthur Lam, born the 23rd of April in Haarlem, 1965, at 6 o'clock or 6 o'clock and 23 minutes past 6 in the morning. Okay, and that gave now she ordered the human signature, paid for that from that lady from America, I think, and that was an email to me. And that's so much aligned with me for who I am. It helped me a little bit understand, although I knew a lot about myself. But
Mhm.
what it helped me understand is what a manifestor is, what a creator is, what an informer is. Okay.
Mhm.
It's someone, okay, who gets into that moment, okay,
Mhm.
to create something and sometimes runs ahead of things. Okay. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need to use wisdom and
Mhm.
patience and guidance from my greatest source, when to do it and how to do it and what to do it.
Yeah.
So the second part is whatever you do, don't force it. Make
Mm.
sure it's aligned
Mm.
with you. Or maybe get your personal signature, and maybe we can, after some notes, I'll share it with you. They can explore that,
Yeah.
where to get that. Okay. So
Right.
that's one thing. Really understand yourself. Okay. Help you
Mm.
understand yourself. Thirdly, the mind just comes to celebrate. No, it just comes to celebrate. Don't forget to celebrate life.
Mm.
Celebrate daily. Celebrate every gift. That you have days, you have wonderful moments. You have moments in the days, it's like 4 seasons. You feel good,
Mhm.
you feel sad, you feel challenged. You
Yes.
get you conflict with someone, okay? Conflict with
Yes.
your own mind, conflict with your partner, conflict with your kids. Okay? Whatever that means, okay? It's important to understand, okay, how to deal with that. Okay,
Mm.
and so
Mm.
great. What can I learn from this? Or take a step back. Okay,
Mm.
but be
Absolutely.
grateful and celebrate life every moment, in good times, in challenging, growing times.
Yeah.
So so important. So success
Comparing.
again
Yeah.
is about harmonious.
Yes.
Secondly, okay, the second step is a great. Who am I? Is it
Yes.
what I do that aligns with me? And
Yes.
ask yourself that maybe 7 times a day. One of the things you can do is actually, and I
Absolutely.
learned this from a Dutch gentleman, is you get your mobile phone. Yes, and
Mm.
put a reminder there in the morning you wake up
Mhm.
and at night. So you got 2 reminders. In
Uh-huh.
between that, you can put 5 other reminders. So
Yeah.
7 reminders of the day.
Well,
And you can
you know.
with one question. And what you can do, sorry, darling. And what you can do is ask yourself that one question, same question. Am I serving my greater purpose? It's just to
Yeah.
remind you of whatever
Yeah.
our thought moments at the moment, whatever we
Well,
walking
you see,
into,
this
building
is
or company we're doing, or how
yeah.
we building a company, or treating our employees, whatever it may be.
This
Am I
is
serving my
really is
greater
a
purpose? Yeah.
implementation of the technology to help us and
Yeah.
assist
Yeah.
us in developing our own self-awareness of what in the
Yeah.
moment are we feeling. Are
Yeah.
we diverting from that task of really honoring ourselves and honoring what we're doing for the benefit of many, or we kind of diverted into something where we're wasting our energy and we basically and then we lost and forgot about our awareness, where are we at, right? So
Yeah.
but we only can use for some time the technology, but then when we retrain ourselves, when we retrain the neural paths in our brain, in our then we will be automatically in that
Yes. Yeah.
moment of
Correct.
seeing ourselves and feeling where we at, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
Wow, that's
actually
amazing.
the 7-day reminder is actually over 7-day process. Okay.
Yes.
Something that I did beforehand. no, consciously and subconsciously we do that and alert ourselves, right? That
Yep.
actually
Yep.
was taught, or I read about, I've heard it from a gentleman in the Netherlands, and it made sense for me as well. So, but yes, no, success,
Right. Yes.
universal unity,
Yes.
understand who you are and celebrate life every moment.
Yes.
Okay, they're the
Yes.
key three things that come to I'll bring to the table today.
That's
And yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Thank you so much for being here with me today. And I'm
my pleasure.
reminding again about your website here, your telephone. If anyone
Yes, yes,
interested to, talk to Arthur or participate in his amazing, functions or whatever, I haven't been, but I would love to.
yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for again such an amazing conversation
Thank
of
you.
two awoken people who basically just taking day as a moment of learning, growing, developing, and making sure that we aligned with what we offer into this world to our families and friends and all the masses of
Thank
people
you
that
so much. Thank,
so
thank
I
you, Larissa. Thank you. There
yes,
is so much in store for all of us. Yes, and for the
absolutely.
world and the people who may listen to this. And there's so much new possibilities available to us. We just got to tap into it. So people
Everything
who
is
are willing,
possible.
people
Yes.
who, yes, for those that believe, and you mentioned that as well. And it's so
Every,
true. And then I'm looking forward to be of support to anyone who wants it,
yes.
or maybe we can collaborate on something we can talk about and help others out there,
Yeah,
strategically
well,
and more hands-on as well. Happy to
yeah.
do that, to give and birth life out there, business life. Yeah,
Yes. Well, I again welcome Arthur and thank you for your participation here today.
thank
And
you.
I am sure I would like to invite you maybe down the time in 6 months or whatever to see the update of your business and how you personally developing and changing in this very changing world
Yes,
with
yeah,
almost the tectonic plates are now
yeah,
moving and
yeah.
changing everything in all areas of our lives and to stay centered and to stay disattached from all of this psychological operation that we are all in now, I suggest you look after your families and yourself and build ecosystem in and out to support you to go and be safe through these changes. So I would like to put a little bit of music right now, and I will come back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time to be with you. There's a few message comments here. So Rob Morris was saying something about that. Yes, there's
Thank you, Rob.
and my friend here, MJ. Thank you for being here. Tatiana from Dubai. She
Wow, wow.
welcomed us. So she was commenting on my metaphor about masks, the ideal masks. It's actually not the metaphor. It's actually the part of our energetic anatomy that we constantly hold, and we have that construct that we use when we are in reaction or in defense. So this could be expanded in my further episode
Yes,
if
yeah.
someone interested. So thank you so much for being here, and all the best. Keep life
Incredible, incredible.
self.
Thank you again to all the listeners and the